Hi everyone, my name is Paula.
Hello, my name's Joy Mugisa.
They were like, no, madam, I think we need to take extra precautions.
Every moment matters, and the things you were able to do yesterday, you're not able to do them now.
I am a Christian, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sibling. More recently, I like to think of myself as a master ideator. So my work is around helping people figure out the lives they want to live, the work they want to do, and the programs they want to teach. I am excited about having a conversation with my mother on the Can We Talk podcast. I'm grateful also for the opportunity to have something to keep of me and my mother that will be there forever. And I also hope it's an opportunity to serve and to encourage you all to connect with your people. Yeah.
I am a mother to Paula Mugisa, and I am here on an invitation to discuss, to have a conversation, a very conversation. I think it comes naturally because we always discuss. Yeah. So I hope whenever there is something and young people want to share or want to offer, and I can be part of it, I'm happy to do that. So that's what I'm here for.
Okay. Should I answer your first question?
Sure.
Okay.
If you could keep only one memory of us, what memory would it be?
Only one memory of us. There are so many, but one
Isn't
memory
it?
of us.
Yeah.
One memory of us would be when I was in Cambodia, and I found out, I think, the day before we were going to get expelled, me and my friends. Actually, how I found out, Edwin called me. And he was like, yo, Paula, I heard mommy's coming, parents are coming. And he called me again when you came. So, of course, like a child knowing they're going to be sent away from school, I came ready, to explain. And you see, mommy, I was explaining to the teachers, well, seeing you in that corner of my eye, like, I am dead. First of all, finished and gone. Like, you're going to kill me here in front of all these people, but if I still stay alive, later. And, they explained all of their things, everything. You listened, you didn't say a single word. And then after you were like, Paula, did you do all these things that these people are saying? So I turned to you and I'm like, no. Then you were like, okay, then let's go. They were like, no, madam, I think we need to take extra precautions. You see your daughter? They said, Paula can write, Paula can talk, Paula can convince anyone of anything. Madam, I really feel like more action should be taken. You were like, no, Paula, get your things, let's go. In my heart, I was like, yes, what did you think you get? Anyway, but of course, I had to calm down.
But partly what you didn't know is one of the cases they put up was not believable for me. That you got somebody who looked taller and bigger than you, and he said, you closed her.
In a suitcase?
In a closet.
Yeah.
And was there until the teachers. It's not anything I know of. I said, if it is true, then I think this is not a school for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's discovered later that a few things were added in there.
Yeah. It was, yes, later, but you and I hadn't yet spoken. And I think I will take that memory with me forever because I realized you had my back. So we'll figure out the details. We'll figure out where I went wrong, but we'll do that privately. But when it really, really mattered, you had my back. I was so grateful for that. I will never forget that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, what's your one moment or one memory of us that you'd keep forever?
Interesting. Like you said, there are many. And I think parent with their children, they have many memories. But the one that was unexpected and vivid and changed everything the way I think it's when you had your child.
Yeah, right. What did I think you were going to say? Of course, yes. That was a life-changing one.
It was. I was totally unprepared, you being the last born, because. But then again, there was part of you. You always did things fast, which in the end I grew to appreciate. Of course, I love my granddaughter, but I appreciated it most because you gave me permission to be myself. From that point on, you acted grown up. And there was something about you and me that was on the back of my mind that you didn't know. And that was, you didn't have a father. I was father, I was mother. And I thought you're going to be more of a baby longest. But you gave me permission and you said, in action, by the things you did, and started being a mother early and took responsibility, and I've not regretted.
Oh,
yeah, that's what.
I feel like has happened. That's so nice.
Thank you.
That's so nice. Okay. What do you wish you had known at my age?
At your age, there's a lot. We're brought up differently. Now that I see you at your age, I think what I used to think when I was young was all you have to do is have an ability to please your parents and do whatever they ask. But what I would wish, what I have learned at my old age, is having the ability is one thing, but having the capacity is another. So I never drew the line. I always thought, for as long as I'm young, for as long as I can do it, and my parents are asking me to do it, without having even knowing if it doesn't work, do I have the capacity as well? And because I have not had capacity when I'm young, I've gone back to again say, now what are they saying? When are they accepting me to do this? And I've found out, my ability alone hasn't served. So I've grown to grow that, to have both, and to actually want to tell young people, because you're young and you have the ability, but without capacity, and you can't balance the two, it doesn't work.
How do you define capacity? Because I think ability is you can do something, right? What do you think capacity is?
Well, I think the only example I can give is capacity. Let's say, for example, you want to go and do something. You're under my roof. You want to go and do something, or what? You have to ask permission. But you can do it. You can go there. You can deal with the situation. But should I say no if I don't? If I don't allow you, if you don't have transport, if you don't have the means to do it yourself, more or less the abilities, actually you have the means to do it yourself, which requires you grow up. You have to earn the capacity.
You have to earn the capacity.
Yeah, but everybody, I think, by God's grace, is given the ability. But it has to be matched with the capacity. Most young people don't. They say, I can go, I can do it. And before you know, if it is a problem, they are calling you. They said, we are stuck here. See that?
Yes.
So I think if we are trained, if I was trained early to know the two go together, I think you land into
fewer challenges.
So
someone has the ability to do something, but you also empower them and equip them with the resources to do that thing.
More than anything, if I haven't, you should be able to do it yourself. when you are able to equip yourself with, when you have the ability to do it, with or without.
With or without the support.
It means you are not,
you're an adult.
You are an adult, and you've thought both sides of the coin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The way I had...
Like, so many cases. You say, Mommy, I've gone out many times. I would ask you, has your school gone? I want to go out with my friends. And I would say, has your school given you a national ID? Mm-hmm. Or school ID, I think is what they called it. And you say no. So do you have your phone and your name written so that should you land in a problem, people can come to your rescue? And you say no. Have you given me your friend's number and what? And it's like, it's occurring to you for the first time and you say, it's that important. Right. But you discovered a few times when you landed into how those things I told you helped.
Yes.
Then I say, who are you going with so and so? Do you have transport to bring you back? They'll bring me back. My friends will bring me back. If they don't, do you yourself have? And you say no. So, because I know what it means, because I've been there before, or because I see what happens, then I'll say, okay, do this, do that. This is the transport, should you not?
Okay.
Like you're tired, and maybe your friends still want to go. Some of them are this or the other, and you're not ready for everything.
Yeah.
You can say, I can go. But when you're dependent on them, you stand a risk.
Yeah, so people should have both the ability, as in they can do something, but also the resources.
Yeah,
to do that thing.
Explain it out.
Okay. I think for the purpose of this conversation and new examples, I was laughing because, people might think I still live with you. Guys, I haven't lived with her for years. But it's interesting how, as a mom, and I'll wait to see because I'm also a mom. I guess your daughter is always your daughter. Your daughter is always a younger person. I really love that advice, Mommy. And from the angle of also, just because you can do something, just because you can please your parent, you can please your coworker, you can please your children, you can please your customers. If you run a business, doesn't mean that you should. I really, really like that advice. I think a lot of us have overextended ourselves. So we don't have the capacity, even in terms of energy, even in terms of motivation. But we have overextended ourselves because we can. Yeah. And people are like, you've done it before, do it for us again, right? But I think that ability, capacity, conversation, and like you're saying, doing it yourself, allows you to think about what is within your means, what can you manage and what can you not, where should you double down and where should you not, yeah? And I wonder why such things are not, whether taught in school or taught earlier, like there's what you're able to do, and then there's your capacity to do it. So I quite really like that.
Yeah, it's very important.
Very key. Very key.
School can't teach everything.
Right.
Maybe, even at home is school. Even the world you're in is also a classroom. So some of the things you land into them, but if you should know.
Yeah. Better not to land, though. Landing is more painful.
In problem. Yeah, it is.
Learning through pain can't be avoided, but it can for sure be mitigated. It can be reduced.
It is.
Yeah. So.
Is it me?
I think it's you.
Is there something that I have done, I'm currently doing, that you find valuable or appreciate?
Wow. Is there something that you've done or you're currently doing that I find valuable? So many things. But the thing that you've always done that I find so valuable and I wish I could learn is you're open to people. You take them as they are. You take them as they show up. You rarely have caution or judgment or, fear about trusting people. You're so open. You let anyone in and talk to anyone, especially without fear, right? And then you will listen. You will listen and listen and listen to the point where I'm like, haven't you heard enough? Or don't you already know? Or don't you want to respond? and you will take someone all in completely. And I really, really like that. I think it makes you relational. It makes you approachable. It just makes you free. You're light. And you, actually, I don't know if we have discussed this, but it's like you trust yourself. That even if I let this person all the way in, I trust that if something goes wrong, I'll be able to handle it. If they say something I don't like, I will immediately respond. You trust that entire interaction. And I appreciate that so much, because I think I have fear of letting people in, and then, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? So I'd rather avoid. But you're just free. You're there, and you will listen to everyone.
Oh, I'm glad you think so, because I like to do that.
You do.
And I like it because I want it done
For you.
to me. I like people who listen. And in fact, recently I've learned something very nice. I don't know. Because usually if something is nice, I want to make that call very fast and share it. And this is very recent. It's something that I have learned. And that is the word, it's called load. Have you heard of that? But it is initials. So load is listen, observe. You know that word?
You love that word.
Which you don't like. Listen, observe, reflect, I think. Is that?
Oh, Lord. Or
yes.
reflect.
Yes. And then after decide. So the word is Lord. You see that? Yeah.
Listen, observe,
Reflect,
then decide.
So you can't arrive at these three if you haven't listened. So listening and observing, which you say, but mommy, I know you're going to say observe.
Right. I will say, mommy, I've already listened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Reflect.
So when I came across that Dr. Geneva's book, Lord, I said,
Lord.
What a wonderful.
That's so you, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so you, yeah. I'm always like, mommy, I've already decided. And you're like, but did you? I already finished, mommy. We're going to do this.
I know. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Lord. Okay. What traits do you see in me that remind you of yourself?
The
Yeah.
traits I see in you, you may not believe this, is the traits I see in you is you have the passion to love people, even though you're telling yourself you shouldn't do it. People take advantage of it.
Yes.
I do it and I don't mind people taking advantage of it. But you have it and sometimes you tone it down. But I've seen it's something you get from somewhere. And I get that something you get from me.
Loving people.
Yeah, you
That's
do.
a nice one.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Yeah. And you think I tone it down?
Yeah.
Out of what?
Yeah, you just said, but I think I should do this less. And I just said there is nothing to regret about loving people.
You have told me that. There's nothing to regret about loving people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it ends in pain, you loved.
Well,
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
you can't know unless you've done it.
Fun.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
That me?
Yeah. You?
What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? Wow. Recently I've been thinking about the gift that it is to be able to imagine something in your mind and live it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've thought of myself the past few years as someone who imagines things, and I've said it even jokingly to you that by the time I'm telling you something I'm thinking about, we're doing it. Yeah. Like, you know, I was just telling you yesterday about a trip that we might go for in the next few weeks. And I was like, Thursday we're on. So, but then I realized that without knowing, I'm only doing that in certain areas of my life and not in others. Yes. So I'm looking forward to living my life authentically and fully without fear. Fear of not being understood or accepted. My biggest dream since I had Adelaide, since I had your granddaughter, maybe from when she was about 1 or 2, maybe 2, is to travel around the world with her. And I've been saying that.
Yeah.
I have, yeah. As long as I have my phone and my laptop and her, will be good. Just to see everything we can see and try everything we can try and just not be held down by anything specific. Yeah. Doesn't have to be fancy places or expensive places, just anywhere. Just to live as nomads, which I also think I get from your side of the family. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to doing
a lot of that.
Like a lot. We already started, but and here in the country and in the region, but doing a lot more of that and seeing what it produces in us and how many more dreams I can live out.
I like it. I have learned there's a lot of learning in doing and exploring. In most cases, like you are aware, I want to think through and I want to be part of the planning and I want to contribute to the planning. But like you know yourself, you come up and you say, this is set and I want you to be a part of. And some of the things have dragged my feet, sometimes not even to please you. I just said, she's done it hurriedly. What if? Yeah, and I don't know whether it makes sense or not, but what I've told myself, what would I sit back and say if I wasn't part of the good and the bad, especially the bad?
Wow.
I would suffer it. I would say, maybe. I always tell myself without even you being aware, because she rushes. I tell myself, if I'm in the background, maybe there is a situation I can save or I can make her see. So let me, even without being what. So there is part of you that lands me into things, and always good things, they end up. So I just, maybe that part of risking I'm learning.
Wow, Mommy.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah. I always think I am there in your situation to save a situation should it be there. But I realized, okay, but it was normal.
Wow.
And
Mommy.
it ended. Like you remember the trip we made? And it rained. And it rained so much. We were going to Kigali. There's some place we were going by road. First of all, she was driving.
So scary.
She was driving for the first time. You're here. We're in this corner. We don't know where we're going. It's raining, cats and dogs.
Couldn't see anything.
And I saw you were scared. You knew I am on the steering.
I was so scared.
You're driving on the side of the whatever you've never driven.
On the right side.
So I remember you told me, Mommy, let us call on the Lord and sing.
Yeah, we started singing.
I have never been
asked
to do something in such a situation. But it got us out of trouble. We kept on zigzagging, cold, windy, and all that. And we found our way. Then I went back, of course, I remember the following day you said, you're going to church. It was a Saturday and you said, you're going to church to thank God. I said, I will stay in my bed to thank God. So I wanted to thank God differently. I didn't want to go to the crowd, but I kept on saying, God, this is what you always show me. I needed to be there. I thought there is something that God does through me by, trusting.
Wow.
And do so. Yeah. So that.
Thank you so much, Mommy. Me, I was here thinking you like my plans. Kumbe, you like.
in the end.
It was a
I don't
backup
sometimes,
for this
yeah.
one. Thank you so much, Mommy. I really love you. I didn't
You're
know
welcome.
that. I didn't know that for sure. I didn't know that.
You're welcome.
That's the reason you come along to my escapades. And for sure, yeah, yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Is that me?
Not sure who it is, but I think I'll ask. I think it's me. What has surprised you the most about life as you've gotten older? This is a good one.
A lot of things. That it passes us by. It passes me very quickly. It's like, you see children grow. You feel like life is there and you're owning it and there is plenty of time. But there's certain things that happen and you just wait a minute. Actually, time has passed. Look at how old she is. Look at my granddaughter. Look at what she's telling me. She said, Jaja, you just have to walk slowly. I have to help you cross. And I say, look at this one. So I think you need to wait for mommy. You're not going to drive alone. And I just said, so actually I'm old.
Right.
That my granddaughter thinks I'm not in a
state to cross the road.
Why so? I say, time flies away before you know. And therefore, it's good to learn to appreciate time. Use every time there is to do something, especially something good, something that you may end up doing and surprisingly stands the test of time. The doing thing, I always like to, I think, to have a tip. And maybe I do the thinking, somebody else does the action, maybe someone
That would be so
So
great.
when I realize that, I think you have to do everything sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Or else you're going to wait for too long. Yeah. Because now if you want to check on the children, my children, it's been a gift. You're my friends, and in many different ways, each one differently. You just say, no, Mommy, is that what you're thinking? I think we're going. I just said every time I ask these people to do things together, they have plans. So actually people must have plans.
Yeah.
And must have plans and follow through. But if you say, I have the plan, let me wait for what she thinks and what, time will passing by.
Yeah.
And it's something I've grown to enjoy.
Yeah.
Learning slowly by slowly. If I think about something, let me not say, okay, when she has time, then we will go through it. I just now try to start. And it has helped. Along the way, you find, and you said, oh, you started this. Oh, that's good. You didn't even ask me. So I said, oh, so this is good. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked what you said about, maybe if one person could do the thinking, another one could do the actioning. I would love to do the actioning and someone does the thinking. Thinking is so disturbing. No wonder we have each other. I really like that. Anyways, okay, so I'm curious, so why do you think we take life for granted? Is it taking people for granted? Why do we take time for granted? What is causing us not to appreciate it more?
I think it's a God-given gift. There would be a lot of tension. You wake up and you're old. You wake up and there's gray hair. You wake up and the things you used to do, you can't. You wake up and you can't put on the shoes without sitting down. And you just say, okay, then you pause and you say, okay, this means something. But the way the universe does it, that it happens naturally without you even seeing. You're waking up and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, is this me? So you haven't cared. So you start understanding that actually every moment matters.
Yeah.
And the things you were able to do yesterday, you're not able to do them now. So, so it's God's gift not to, especially your generation, to panic.
Yeah.
It happens naturally.
Yeah.
And you have to observe, like I say, you'll see that time is passing you by, that there are things you haven't done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know me?
Yeah, I think so.
In what ways do you think success looks and feels different for your generation compared to mine?
Whoa. Wow. I think, but I would also like to hear your thoughts. But what I think is, for your generation, there was a lot of structure, a lot of boxes. I mean, the internet was not there, so AI, all of those things. So even just how we look at jobs, family, all of those things now, world over, not just in Uganda, is completely different. And so the go to school, finish school, get married, get a job, buy a house if you can, have kids, also put them in school, cookie cutter box kind of life was more prominent in your generation as the definition of success. But in our generation, I think especially because of the entrance of the internet, giving us a more globalized world. So I am not only getting influenced by my family and what they think success looks like. I'm being influenced by the world and what success looks like. And so a young woman in Missouri and the epiphany she's having about her life and success, I can now access on my phone and it will influence mine. And I'm liking to see our generation defining success for themselves. Success looking like having boundaries. Yeah. I have the ability to do something, but I don't have the capacity to do something like you're sharing. Yeah. Success looking more and more like following your passion, or better yet, what you deeply care about. Yeah. Which I don't feel was so prominent in your generation. And in fact, the people who stood against the systems and the structures are the ones we celebrate. The ones who stood against it and succeeded, which was very hard to do. So I think success for us is looking a lot more like boundaries, like freedom, like discovery, like exploration. I mean, people are exploring so much that they are choosing different genders and different ways of living and maybe even not going to traditional school. There are all those kinds of things. And I think success for millennials, Gen Z, and younger is looking like choice. It's looking like options. It's looking like freedom and exploration, like discovery and acceptance and, standing in being you, even at the cost of being abandoned, which I feel was a harder, very much harder option for your generation, but you can correct me.
Yeah, I can see your generation looking at ours and thinking it was very, very hard. But because maybe we were limited, or maybe that's all that we knew, it didn't seem like hard. There was a lot of conditioning, and that's what you grow up knowing, and all you have to do is in that box fix things the way you have shared, and you don't have to look here, there, what. There is an advantage, and I think for us to know both worlds.
Yes.
Because we can see what is applicable to us in the world today of yours, and what we can keep to what was then and still is applicable. For instance, I don't like the idea how young people today think they have friends. Sometimes they don't even know the difference, in my view. Acquaintances and friends. And you have internet, which is very good exposure, but depends on what you're watching and the limited time. I was listening to one podcast. I have learned to listen to podcasts And from the time of COVID, I used to say, I'm not going to go this route. But now I saw the importance of you guys having the social media, people from, really so far away, strangers you don't know became friends,
Yes.
advised us on many areas on how to go about and how to comfort us. So it was very nice. But the disadvantage, I feel you guys take it too far. You have, I don't know, 1,000, 1,000,000 followers, and you think they are friends, and then they are not. So if you don't discern,
Yes.
you can really be in your own world,
Truly.
which lacks reality. But young people have choices. That's very, very important.
Yes.
And of your generation, you have choices. You're not short of things to do, things to think about.
Yeah.
Which is, if it is applied well, is an advantage. Like you said, you can listen to somebody so far away and find sense and apply what they have. And I'll come to you and I say, I think you should do this for my granddaughter. And you say, Mommy, I already know. I said, oh, you ask grandmother Google.
Right. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, okay, if I am also busy in my world, you have grandmother Googles. I have only to check and see whether it's all you have to know, and also add my bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, add my bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess to say the least, there are some of those that need to be balanced.
Can you speak a little bit more about the friend thing?
More about
the topic of friendship. What is a friend, and what do you think is a friend, and who is not a friend? Yeah. I've come to appreciate from talking to you, and even in my life now, it might seem like a simple question, right? A friend is, I guess someone you like, they like you, you have the same interests, but it's much deeper than that as we grow older. And the stakes are high, and you're right, the internet, we are letting in so much, including so many people. So I'm curious what a friend is to you.
well, it's different things, I guess, for different people. But generally, I think when people haven't found out who they really are, they may not even know who their genuine friend is. It's like you're always seeking to see, what does this person think about me? And if they think good about you, then you're good, then you're a friend. But a friend, I guess, to get the best answer for friends, you must first be friends to yourself. And if you're a very good friend to yourself, then you'll be able to judge who else is your friend around you. I think that's the little that I think I can
Just giving us more work. Thank you. Okay.
I think so.
Right, okay. Right. How different do you think you would be if you were raised in my times? I love this question so much.
If I was raised in your time?
Yeah, if you were raised in my time, how different would you be? What would you do from what you've already done?
Wow.
I know, right? Really like that one.
That question now, I think I would be of much more service than people of your generation are. I think.
Okay. In what way?
Because I didn't have the choice that you have. I didn't have the ability, like for instance, you have. I got married young, and those were decisions made for me. And as much as marriage has its good, but if I was not married early, I think I would be of much better service. But I was conditioned to just know the best to live with my family And just that was enough. If my family is happy, my husband is happy, the children are happy, it was enough.
Yeah.
But I realize it's not enough, because now you're serving and doing something that makes one individual happy at the expense of sometimes not knowing what makes me happy. And sometimes when you attain that understanding, like you may not know it, you're raised in a certain way, conditioned to be everything to this person alone. So when you discover that, okay, he's an independent person, he's doing what he loves doing, there is you. And this business of, 50-50, I think everybody should be 100 in my view.
Right.
I haven't attained on how, but it would serve a larger community. It's sufficient to love one person and it's enough. But you find that there is a lot of energy that is not applied because you're confining yourself whenever you try to get out of it. If it's not understood by your spouse, then you're causing a problem. And yet your number one is to serve this person. That's how we are conditioned. But you guys have a balance. There is what I'm ordained to be. There is, what you're ordained to be. So if we put all together, and what you're ordained to be is 100%, mine is 100%, you can imagine. It can do a lot.
Wow.
But now every time you talk to yourself and you say, wait a minute, I think I am limited to 50. Let me stick there. I think the world is missing something.
Wow.
I think.
Wow.
That's what I see.
Yeah. Though I would say that you're doing it from that realization. I mean, it's even why you're here in this podcast and allowing us to have this conversation to get other people to connect. So that's good. Really, really good. I'm open for more questions if you have them.
Okay. This is getting deep.
Yes.
In what way do you think our differences affect our relationship dynamics?
So everybody drink some Coca-Cola.
You want to sip a Coca-Cola?
The question is, in what way
do you think
our differences affect our relationship dynamic? Wow. I think we have already shared our differences. So I'm the actor, you're the thinker. I would rather move fast, you would rather pause and observe. So I think, and I would like you to answer the same. I think it has made our relationship dynamic very interesting, to say the least. I think there is a level of maturity. Like I imagine and I hope, Mommy, that I'm easier to deal with now than when I was 17. No, in fact, 15. And I wanted to go out and wear heels and makeup and all of those things. So I think our differences have helped me to grow. And to be more calm, more at peace. But our differences, especially in my teenage years, and God bless you again, really caused so much conflict. That whole movies, sleepover time, even that I chose to leave home before my 17th birthday to travel thousands of miles. All of that made our relationship quite difficult, and I think more for you in ways that I can only realize now, as an adult, but also as a mom. So I think that's the way that our differences have affected our relational dynamic. But now that you also share the story of being my backup, of coming along the escapades, I realized that our differences have helped me a lot.
Even me.
Our differences have helped me a lot. I have actually avoided so much trouble, so much pain, extending relationships, because the whole time you were observing and discerning when I was not. So when I was ready, though crushed, but ready to hear, I guess maybe because I was crushed, you are like, so this thing looks like A, B, C, D, and G. And I was like, quite interested. I mean, Mary,
I was waiting
why
for
didn't
you
you tell me how, and when you say it at that time when I'm ready to hear it, I'm like, that's exactly the thing. How did you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been observing and discerning the whole entire time. So I would say our differences have saved me a lot of trouble. And it has improved our ability to connect more than mother and daughter, but as friends. And as I often say, I think it was what has made you my best friend. You let me do my thing. And then I come back and you're like, that thing. But when I'm ready, it's usually the thing. Do you find the same? I don't know.
Yeah, it has been two ways because for me, my conditioning
Yes.
with a lot of difficulty has not allowed me to all the time go past what I was conditioned. So when you are determined to do your thing sometimes, and then I can't stay behind because you want to, maybe for the lack of a better word, to drag me for me to be a part of. Just realize maybe actually this is good, but it's not something you can appreciate when you're not a part of it.
Yes.
So I realize maybe that's a bit of my conditioning, that if I strictly made you do that in this day and age, it will be too much strictness, which doesn't serve all the time. Yeah, so I think it's shared. So it has worked very well because a part of you that lives like today you live, and a part of me that is, questioning a lot of things.
Yes.
I think that is where they meet, and it serves both of us.
It really does. So you help me do less and I help you do more.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. Oh, wait, is it me still asking?
Don't know.
All right. Okay. Well, what do you think you can learn from me? Wow. What do you think you can learn from me? Okay.
I think it's as simple as learning by doing. Yeah, because when we share what is it I want to do, you just say, so where have you started it? I just said, no, I'm still thinking about it. So learning, and it is very important, and I've seen what it does for you. Begin, and you will. And actually, so all the things you've done, either way, one of the most beautiful things, you always share it with the family for free.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then when I read it, and I just said, okay. So I learned to now say, okay, I have thought, for how long are you going to do this? Start doing, and combining doing and thinking without taking too long and try to perfect things is good. It has its good. So you perfect along the way as you go along. And I've found that so beautiful. But the way I was raised, first be sure. Do not.
Then move.
Do not, because if I have told you do not, and then do not come back to me.
Yeah.
So what I've learned is to be open for my children, or is to come back to me, because it causes fear not to know you can come back and you say,
Yes. Say I made a
Now,
mistake. I shouldn't have.
now let me know. You know, I think I'm stuck.
Yes.
Yes, so that's why I can be ready if I have an answer, because sometimes you do your things so far when I don't have the answer, I don't have the answer. But if I have the answers, I'm always waiting for you to come back and I share.
Oh, thanks, Mommy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Maybe one more?
Okay. What is something you know I am right about, but find it hard to admit? Hard to admit.
To admit something I know you're right about. We touched on it
Yeah.
earlier. So I keep telling you how, you know, I'm a decisive person. I move with intuition, all of those things. And then even before I come back to you now, obviously, because I'm older, you know, you first hold yourself a little bit. Before I come back to you, I'm like, okay, let me imagine what she's going to say. And usually it's something to do with I didn't observe, I didn't pay attention as much as I should have. I had already pre-decided how I wanted someone to be or how I wanted them to act or I wanted the company to respond. Yeah. And I was moving in that path, in that lane, as opposed to seeing it for what it actually is. Yes. And so something that I find hard to admit is that it's absolutely always worthwhile to listen. And I'm like, I listened. And you're like, listen to the end, Paula, to the end. Just like, now even when you send me something, I have to listen to the end. Yeah? Not just a bit or the summary. So listen to the end, observing, not being rushed to make any quick judgment about how I want something to be. So now I usually came up like, Mommy, okay, I observed it. Or in hindsight, I can see that I didn't observe. I sometimes find that hard because I know that's going to show up in the conversation. Yeah. Yeah. What would you say I always tell you to do that's hard for you to admit? Or I always bring up that's hard for you to admit?
Well, something that has come to mind as you were saying that is the recent conversation we had about my farm. And because you have plans, you want to go and further your studies, you want to go and do so many other things. But as much as I'm concerned about you, which I'm not anymore that much, you have grown, you are concerned and you just say, okay, I'm leaving this old lady, but she said ABCD. How can I bring them to conclusion before I leave? And that thing scares the hell out of me. So I ask you, so how are you going to bring them to conclusion? Shockingly, you have it all figured out. It's not exactly what I want, but sometimes I think you don't even have it. To my surprise, if it is what to do on the farm, you have done the garden, you have done the cabin, you have things you know that I like. But then I said, how? And you just, let's just begin. Me, I'll bring my people. It is so nice, but it is so scary for me.
It is scary.
And I say in some of the ways, because I see the passion, I see the love, I see the concern, I can say yes. But you just say, I know. So now these days, you know, you said, I know. You have said yes, but you're not all in.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's the part of you that is great about you, but I don't quickly grasp it, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not only you. I will stay strong. Yeah.
This is very nice.
It is. It has been. How do you feel now after having had this conversation?
It's very nice to hear you say it in your way, in your words.
Yeah.
We always try and share things when you have time. But these days, because you do your own things, I always feel like this time is very precious for me.
Yeah.
Because I like to take time to do things. And you just said, Mommy, if you have like 30 minutes maybe for what you want to share. And many times I've said, let's keep it for next time, even though I'm not sure next time will not even be 15.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
To find time like this, and for young people who arrange this, I don't take this for granted. And I may not be that one parent who feels like this. So I guess you people knowing where we are coming from, the kind of old people like me and different background, when you're dealing with us, you put in that allowance, I guess. That's what I would do.
Would you encourage other parents after listening to this conversation and speaking with us to get these cards, find this time? Would you encourage other parents in your generation to do this, and why?
To me, it's the best thing I have had, and I thank the young lady who came up with this, who invented this, because it's like the hardest part we have is to ground you guys of your generation to hear us out. And you the same. Because like if you find I'm on the farm and I'm busy and you have come with something that requires me to be in town and what. So taking each side important, that there is a reason you've come to me, then I should stop farming or looking after my animals or anything and listen to you. And if you say, oh, it requires you, but unfortunately, to leave your farm and be with me in this place, I think life should be lived like that. I think you, the children, you are the future, there are reasons, and we do not want to regret. I wish I gave her time. I wish I listened, because we're not here forever. So if somebody talks to you, if somebody doesn't agree with you, if somebody picks the phone and even says whatever it is, sometimes not so interesting, they care. They picked the phone after all and called you. So we shouldn't take this for granted. I love this opportunity, and I love the organizer, and I thank them very much. And I wish parents we do this more.
Yeah.
Yeah, find time and share with our people. It's good to share with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, Mommy. I really appreciate it. And like I said at the beginning, which is how I feel till now, it's such a gift to have these memories on the record, to be able to watch this show over and over and over. It's such a good gift to me as a memory. And hopefully this tiny snippet of our conversations will encourage people to call their mom or guardian or auntie or grandmother or father or uncle and talk about some things and ask them questions and be curious without judgment, without fear about what they think, and also share. So I'm so grateful you came to do this with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.